ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, is a safety device designed to protect individuals from electrical shock. It works by monitoring the current flowing into and out of a circuit. If there is an imbalance, indicating that current is leaking to ground, the GFCI will quickly trip, cutting off power to the circuit. This prevents potentially dangerous electrical shocks. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, permits the use of GFCI protection in certain situations to enhance safety. Specifically, it allows replacing non-grounding type receptacles with GFCI receptacles, or with grounding type receptacles protected by a GFCI. This is often done in older homes that lack grounding conductors. However, this allowance does not extend to using GFCI breakers to compensate for the absence of an equipment ground in circuits exclusively serving lighting and switches. A key reason is that GFCIs are designed to detect ground faults, which occur when current flows through an unintended path to ground. While a GFCI receptacle can provide a degree of safety in a two-wire system by interrupting the circuit if a ground fault occurs, it does not provide the same level of protection as a properly installed grounding system. An equipment ground provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, allowing the circuit breaker to trip quickly and clear the fault. In a two-wire system without an equipment ground, there is no such path. While a GFCI will still trip if a ground fault occurs, the lack of an equipment ground can increase the risk of damage to equipment and potentially increase the duration of a shock hazard before the GFCI trips. Furthermore, the NEC specifically addresses the use of GFCIs in different applications. The allowance for replacing non-grounding receptacles with GFCIs is primarily intended for receptacle outlets where portable equipment might be used and where the risk of ground faults is higher. Lighting and switch circuits, on the other hand, are typically considered to be more fixed installations with a lower risk of ground faults. Therefore, the NEC does not permit the use of GFCI breakers as a substitute for an equipment ground in these types of circuits. Consider this example. Imagine a two-wire circuit supplying power to a lighting fixture. If the fixture's metal housing becomes energized due to a fault, a person touching the housing could receive an electrical shock. In a properly grounded system, the fault current would flow through the equipment grounding conductor back to the source, causing the circuit breaker to trip and energize the circuit. In a two-wire system without an equipment ground, the fault current would have no low impedance path to return to the source. A GFCI breaker would eventually trip if enough current leaked ground through the person's body, but the shock would still occur. To properly address the lack of an equipment ground in older wiring systems, there are several options to consider. Firstly, rewiring the circuit with a three-wire cable that includes an equipment grounding conductor is the most effective solution. This provides a dedicated path for fault current to flow back to the source, ensuring that the circuit breaker will trip quickly in the event of a ground fault. Secondly, if rewiring is not feasible, it may be possible to install a grounding electrode system and run a grounding conductor to the lighting and switch boxes. This can provide a supplemental ground path, but it is important to ensure that the grounding electrode system is properly installed and meets the requirements of the NEC. Thirdly, another option is to replace the two-wire circuit with a new circuit that is protected by an arc fault circuit interrupter, or a GFCI breaker. GFCIs are designed to detect arc faults, which are a common cause of electrical fires. While GFCIs do not provide ground fault protection, they can help to reduce the risk of fire in older wiring systems. In summary, while GFCI protection is a valuable safety measure, it is not a substitute for an equipment ground. GFCI breakers cannot be used to compensate for the absence of an equipment ground in two-wire circuits that exclusively serve lighting and switches. In these situations, it is important to consider other options such as rewiring, installing a grounding electrode system, or using GFCI protection to improve electrical safety. When working with electrical systems, always consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the work is performed safely and in accordance with the NEC and local electrical codes. The electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to prevent electrical shock and fire. Here are some additional points to keep in mind. Firstly, GFCI protection is required in many areas of a home, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor receptacles. Secondly, GFCIs should be tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. Thirdly, if a GFCI trips frequently, it may indicate a problem with the circuit or the appliance connected to it. Fourthly, do not attempt to repair electrical equipment unless you are qualified to do so. Fifthly, always turn off the power to a circuit before working on it. Sixthly, use appropriate safety equipment, such as insulated tools and gloves. Seventhly, be aware of the location of overhead power lines and underground utilities. Eighthly, if you are unsure about any aspect of electrical work, consult with a qualified electrician. Ninthly, the NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to stay current with the latest requirements. Tenthly, local electrical codes may be more stringent than the NEC, so it is important to comply with all applicable codes. 11thly, proper grounding is essential for electrical safety. 12thly, an equipment grounding conductor provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source. 13thly, a grounding electrode system provides a connection to the earth. 14thly, arc faults are a common cause of electrical fires. 15thly, FCIs are designed to detect arc faults. 16thly, GFCI receptacles and breakers are designed to protect against ground faults. 17thly, electrical work should always be performed by a qualified electrician. 18thly, electricity can be dangerous, so it is important to take all necessary precautions. 19thly, regular electrical inspections can help to identify potential hazards. 20thly, proper maintenance of electrical systems can help to prevent electrical problems. It is crucial to understand the specific requirements and limitations of GFCI protection as outlined in the National Electrical Code. The NEC provides detailed guidelines on where GFCI protection is required and how it should be implemented. These requirements are based on extensive research and analysis of electrical safety data, and they are designed to minimize the risk of electrical shock and fire. When evaluating the safety of an electrical system, it is important to consider all aspects of the system, including the wiring, grounding, and overcurrent protection. GFCI protection is just one component of a comprehensive electrical safety plan. Other important components include proper insulation, bonding, and surge protection. In addition to the NEC, there may be local electrical codes that apply to your area. These codes may be more stringent than the NEC, and it is important to comply with all applicable codes. Local electrical inspectors can provide guidance on the specific requirements in your area. Understanding the differences between GFCI receptacles and GFCI breakers is also important. A GFCI receptacle is installed at a specific location and provides protection only for that location. A GFCI breaker, on the other hand, protects the entire circuit that it serves. This means that all receptacles and devices in the circuit will be protected by the GFCI breaker. The choice between using a GFCI receptacle or a GFCI breaker depends on the specific application and the desired level of protection. In some cases, it may be necessary to use both GFCI receptacles and GFCI breakers to provide adequate protection. For example, a bathroom receptacle that is located near a sink should be protected by a GFCI receptacle, even if the circuit is already protected by a GFCI breaker. The reason is that the receptacle is located in a wet environment, which increases the risk of electrical shock. The GFCI receptacle provides an additional layer of protection in this situation. Another important consideration is the ampacity of the circuit. The ampacity of a circuit is the maximum amount of current the circuit can safely carry. The ampacity of a circuit is determined by the size of the wires, the type of insulation, and the ambient temperature. It is important to ensure that the ampacity of the circuit is sufficient to handle the load that will be connected to it. Overloading a circuit can cause the wires to overheat and potentially start a fire. The National Electrical Code provides tables that specify the ampacity of different types of wires. These tables take into account the size of the wires, the type of insulation, and the ambient temperature. When selecting wires for a circuit, it is important to consult these tables to ensure that the wires are properly sized. In addition to opacity, it is also important to consider the voltage drop in a circuit. Voltage drop is the decrease in voltage that occurs as current flows through the wires. Excessive voltage drop can cause appliances to operate inefficiently and can even damage them. The National Electrical Code provides guidelines on the maximum allowable voltage drop in a circuit. These guidelines are based on the type of load that will be connected to the circuit. When designing a circuit, it is important to calculate the voltage drop to ensure that it is within the allowable limits. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, allowing the circuit breaker to trip quickly and clear the fault. Bonding connects all metal parts of the electrical system together, creating a low impedance path for fault current to flow. This helps to prevent electrical shock and fire. The National Electrical Code provides detailed requirements for grounding and bonding. These requirements cover the size and type of grounding and bonding conductors, as well as the methods for connecting them. It is important to comply with all applicable grounding and bonding requirements. Surge protection is another important component of electrical safety. Surges are sudden increases in voltage that can damage electrical equipment. Surges can be caused by lightning, power outages, and other events. Surge protection devices, or SPDs, are designed to protect electrical equipment from surges. SPD work by diverting the surge current to ground, preventing it from damaging the equipment. The National Electrical Code requires surge protection in certain applications. These requirements are based on the type of equipment being protected and the likelihood of surges. When selecting SPD, it is important to choose devices that are rated for the voltage and current of the circuit. It is also important to choose devices that are listed by a recognized testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories or all. Electrical safety is a complex topic, and it is important to stay informed about the latest requirements and best practices. The National Electrical Code is a valuable resource for electrical safety information. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to stay current with the latest requirements. In addition to the NEC, there are many other resources available, such as books, articles, and training courses. By staying informed and following best practices, you can help to ensure the safety of yourself and others. It is important to distinguish between ground fault protection and overcurrent protection. Ground fault protection, provided by GFCIs, detects imbalances in current flowing to and from a device, indicating a leakage to ground. Overcurrent protection, provided by circuit breakers and fuses, protects against excessive current flow due to short circuits or overloads. While both are crucial for safety, they address different types of electrical hazards. GFCIs are designed to prevent electrical shock, while overcurrent protection devices are designed to prevent overheating and fires. In the context of two-wire circuits without grounding, GFCIs offer a degree of shock protection by interrupting the circuit if a ground fault occurs. However, they do not address the risk of short circuits or overloads, which can still occur in the absence of a grounding conductor. Therefore, relying solely on a GFCI breaker in a two-wire circuit is not a complete solution for electrical safety. Consider the scenario where a short circuit occurs between the hot and neutral wires in a two-wire circuit. A GFCI breaker will not trip in this case because there is no current leakage to ground. The circuit breaker or fuse will eventually trip due to the overcurrent, but in the meantime, the short circuit can cause overheating and potentially a fire. In contrast, a properly grounded system would provide a low impedance path for the fault current to flow back to the source, causing the circuit breaker to trip quickly and clear the fault. This minimizes the risk of overheating and fire. When evaluating the electrical safety of an existing building, it is important to assess the condition of the wiring, grounding, and overcurrent protection. If the wiring is old or damaged, it may need to be replaced. If the grounding is inadequate, it may need to be upgraded. If the overcurrent protection is not properly sized, it may need to be replaced. A qualified electrician can perform a thorough inspection of the electrical system and recommend appropriate upgrades to improve safety. In some cases, it may be necessary to rewire the entire building to bring it up to current code. This can be a significant expense, but it is often the best way to ensure the safety of the occupants. Rewiring involves replacing all of the old wiring with new wiring that meets current code requirements. This includes installing new cables, receptacles, switches, and lighting fixtures. Rewiring also typically includes upgrading the grounding system and the overcurrent protection. The cost of rewiring a building depends on several factors, including the size of the building, the complexity of the wiring, and the local labor rates. It is important to get several bids from qualified electricians before making a decision. While rewiring can be expensive, it is a worthwhile investment in the safety of your home or business. Regular electrical inspections are also important for maintaining electrical safety. Electrical inspections can help to identify potential hazards before they cause problems. A qualified electrical inspector can inspect the wiring, grounding, overcurrent protection, and other components of the electrical system. The inspector will also look for any signs of damage or deterioration. The frequency of electrical inspections depends on the type of building and the local requirements. In general, it is recommended to have an electrical inspection every 3 to 5 years. Proper maintenance of electrical equipment is also important for electrical safety. This includes cleaning electrical equipment regularly, replacing worn or damaged cords and plugs, and avoiding overloading circuits. It is also important to follow the manufacturer's instructions for operating electrical equipment. Overloading a circuit can cause the wires to overheat and potentially start a fire. Avoid using extension cords as a permanent solution. If you need more outlets, have a qualified electrician install additional receptacles. Extension cords are intended for temporary use only. When using extension cords, be sure to use the correct size cord for the load. A smaller gauge wire can overheat and cause a fire. Inspect extension cords regularly for damage and replace them if they are worn or frayed. Power strips with surge protection can help to protect electronic equipment from power surges. However, power strips are not a substitute for proper grounding. It is important to ensure that all electrical equipment is properly grounded. Do not remove the grounding prong from a plug. The grounding prong is there for your safety. If an outlet does not have a grounding slot, have a qualified electrician replace it with a grounded outlet. Be aware of the location of overhead power lines. Avoid contact with overhead power lines. Contact with overhead power lines can be fatal. If you are working near overhead power lines, be sure to maintain a safe distance. Call the utility company if you have any questions about working near overhead power lines. Underground utilities can also pose a hazard. Before digging, call 811 to have the location of underground utilities marked. Digging without knowing the location of underground utilities can damage the utilities and cause serious injury or death. If you smell gas, evacuate the area immediately and call the gas company. Do not use any electrical equipment that could create a spark. Gas leaks can be dangerous and can cause explosions. By following these safety tips, you can help to prevent electrical shock, fire, and other electrical hazards. Remember, electrical safety is everyone's responsibility.